Hello and welcome to Connect with County Leaders. I'm Bryan Hill. On this edition of the show, I'm excited to welcome highly decorated American Paralympian and wheelchair basketball legend. See that? Legend.
That's a strong word.
Trevon Jenifer. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Well, you know, when I was told that you were coming on the show, I was thinking back to the first time you and I met, and it was during COVID.
Yeah.
And you were just wheeling around the gym, and I'm looking at you like, wow, that dude's really fast. And you were making your shots, and you had a very interesting routine. And you came in, you warmed up, and then you just went at it. And I'm not sure, it was about an hour, hour and a half.
Yeah, just about an hour.
Yeah. And if you could tell the audience, basically, once you get in the gym, what is the routine of Trevon? Because it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, thank you for having me. Right?
It's my pleasure, you know.
And I to go back to 2020, I was doing the same thing because we were there at 5 a.m. and I'm in there shooting, and I see you shooting, and I'm like, who's this guy in here at 5 a.m. making three balls like this?
Yeah.
So those that don't know, that your shot is pure. But for me, it's about getting in, getting close, starting, routine shots, layups first, and then start to work my way out, 5 feet, 10 feet, 15 feet, three balls. And then it's about cardio, right? I think that one of the biggest things that's missed sometimes when we go in and shoot is like people come in and they just shoot. Not realizing when you get into a game situation, it's about how your arms are after it being tired. So doing down and backs, then shooting because you missed, and so on and so forth. So that's the big thing. The biggest thing is like getting there and working at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Like that's the biggest struggle.
Yeah. I mean, there was a couple times you and I were outside waiting for them to open up. It was cold.
Oh.
And, we go in, we do what we do, but, I didn't pay you to say that my shot was pure. I just want to make sure everybody knows that.
No, not paid.
Okay.
I saw it with my own two eyes.
And the reason why I was there was obviously to get the mental health and the stamina and the condition going. My routine was predicated after watching what you were doing, just so you know.
Oh, really?
Because you would, like you said, you were going up and back. I started shooting, rebounding, shoot, rebound, and then fly down the court. And I was trying to chase you.
Oh.
And do pretty much what you were doing. So I just wanted to say thank you, because that helped me get into a lot better shape. And people don't really understand what cardio is all about. But that's what you and I know.
Yeah.
But now, there's something a lot of people don't know about you. Like, you published a book when you were 17 years old. Yeah. Tell me the name of the book, why you did it, and expound on what made it really happen for you.
Yeah. So we're going into my senior year. So this would be my second year wrestling. And the person that wrote a Washington Post article about me wrestling with no legs came up to me in my senior year and was like, hey, Trevon, we want you to come out and, write a book called From the Ground Up. And I was like, I can be an author at a young age? Absolutely. Let me do it. Little did I realize that, the time that it took to write a book. So meanwhile, I want to go, hang out with my friends, get ready for prom. And it's like, now we gotta etch down these books and figure out these last couple sentences that we're gonna put in. But ultimately, it was a way to inspire others through my story is what I'll say, through my story and through my mom's story, because I actually learned a lot about my situation during this process of writing the book. Right. I learned that my biological father, the way that he left when he found out I didn't have legs, and the trials and tribulations that she had to go through. So it's a living testament and testimony to her and the strength that she had to not only raise 5 kids, but to raise one that had a disability.
You talk about wrestling and, happy Mother's Day to your mom. Mom is every day's Mother's Day to my mom, and I'm sure it is to your mom.
Absolutely.
And we've had that conversation. But you talk about wrestling, right? And you just said, well, my story about not having legs. I'm like, okay, but you were a wrestler.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about you being a wrestler and how far that took you.
Yeah, so, my original start was with adaptive sports, wheelchair basketball and track. They had a falling out between the coaching staff and my parents, so I stopped. And in that 6-year period, I was kind of lost myself, right? Mm-hmm. Because my identity was only verified through sport.
Right.
And so when I was able to actually get back on a team and wrestle again, at first I was like, I don't know if this is a sport for me, but ultimately being able to be a part of a sport, like I was like, oh, this is where I'm meant to be. First year, 17 and 18, we weren't satisfied.
Yeah.
We went back to the drawing board and we started to realize that I can't wrestle like the traditional teachings of wrestling. I have to use my disability, right, which is seen as a disadvantage, to my advantage on the mat. And we spent that summer weight training, working on fine-tuning my moves, and then like we primed it up, 32 and 8, and then ended up finishing second in SMAC, second in region, and third in the state of Maryland for the 103 weight class in my senior year.
So that's wrestling.
Yeah.
You finished wrestling. How'd you get into basketball?
So, like I said, I started. My true passion was actually track growing up. There's a team called Air Capital out of Washington, D.C., and I started at the age of 4. And basketball was just kind of like a cross trainer for me, That was one of the biggest starting points of my athletic career. And then I switched, go into wrestling, and what's crazy enough is that my wrestling coach went to the University of Edinburgh University of Pennsylvania. And he tried to call my senior year to see if they had a spot for me. And then that's when they found out that, hey, they actually have a wheelchair basketball program up here.
Really?
Yeah. And so fate had it, and I got there. Again, I haven't played wheelchair basketball in 8 years, right? I was terrible. Terrible. Basketball conditioning and wrestling conditioning are two different things. But if you're going to give me the opportunity to play and go to school and get a degree and be the first one in my family to do it, like, I'm going to take full advantage of it. And that's where it kind of kicked off.
Well, it's interesting, you say you were terrible and your basketball career started off terrible when you got to college. But now you are 2-time gold, 1 bronze.
3-time gold, 1 bronze.
My apologies.
No, all good.
And you also played in the foreign league.
Yes, professionally.
So when you look back and now you're here with me today, give me a little insight about how playing basketball professionally in France was for you. And what do you still remember? And what didn't you like? What did you like? But, come on, man.
Ultimately, I went to school at Edinburgh, Pennsylvania. So those that don't know, northwestern Pennsylvania, they get nothing but snow belt, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes I was like, my freshman year I almost transferred because that's how bad the weather was. And I went from that to the south of France, right?
Yeah.
Where in the middle of December, we're hanging out on the beach. But it was a way for me to fine tune my craft. What a lot of people don't know is like they said, read the accolades: 3 gold medals, 1 bronze, world champion, blah, 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 blah. But what actually pushed me to go overseas was that I got cut like 6 months before that from Team USA.
Right.
And at that point in time, I'm working full time. I had the choice of either, hanging it up, focusing on my career, or chasing after the dream that we wanted. And ultimately, my wife and I decided to go overseas at the time. And I was actually able to just focus on basketball because when I was in school, it was school and basketball, right? When it was USA and working, it was both of those things at the same time. I was able to fine-tune my craft there, and I think that that's ultimately where I actually became the best version of myself as a basketball player, but not only that, as a person.
That's very fascinating. So you were playing full-time ball in France, December, on the beach.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So why are you here with me today?
That's a really good question because we loved it over there. No, we ended up, finding out that we were getting ready to have a little one.
Okay.
And my baby girl was a true blessing to me. We were like, we wanted to raise her around family. So then that was a decision to come back and start giving her a life around family.
Okay, so now you said 3 golds, right?
Correct.
All right, so which gold in your opinion, do you like the most?
Man,
because it's not. You
so
you
hard.
had Paris, you got Tokyo, you got Rio. Come on.
Yeah, that's like asking which one's your favorite kid, and like
I can answer my question. I can answer. I got 3 boys. I can answer that. I'm letting everybody know that right now. I can answer that question.
They all give me a little extra. I'll give you an example. Like Paris, that medal is the first three-peat ever done in the men's version of wheelchair basketball, right? So that gives you a little something. Rio was the first medal that, USA has won since 1988, right? And then you go right in the middle is Tokyo. And with Tokyo, like you saw, like we were battling COVID. And for me, that was a tough little situation because I've been training for this long to eventually or potentially not go to the games. And that's all you kept hearing: postponement, cancellation, postponement, cancellation. And then we do that with no fans in the stands, no family. Yeah. So that one's a tough one. So it's a testament to like what we went through just to accomplish the pinnacle of wheelchair basketball.
You say 1988 first medal since. Boy, that was a tough year for USA basketball.
Yeah.
You guys really do. I mean, come on, really? Wow. I didn't realize it was your folks and the Dream Team came in 92 because we had to fix some things. And now I see that you're fixing some things as well because you guys have been pretty dominant.
Yeah.
And how many guys are coming back, do you think, for this upcoming because 2028 is Los Angeles, correct?
Correct.
And you are in training for that.
And training for it, right? As long as the old man body holds up to it. Right now, from the three-peat, there's only 3 athletes currently that are on the roster from the three-peat. But we have a wealth of guys that have at least one medal on their resume that'll be at least trying to contribute to the LA Games.
So let's go back to a couple things just so I set this question up. So when you were in France, all you did was basketball.
Absolutely.
You were in France, you didn't have any children.
No.
You have a child, you leave France. Now you work. And you got 3 kids, and you got basketball.
Yeah.
All right, unpack that for me.
Old wise man. That's what I am now. So I've learned how to prioritize my time, and I think that's one of the biggest things that I didn't know as a young guy. I was trying to make everyone happy at that point in time, doing work, doing basketball, making friends happy, and having socialization. After getting cut and going overseas, I had sacrifices had to be made. Right. So for me, like the biggest thing is when I am home, I am present with my kids. Right. Nothing else matters. I won't miss a game. I won't miss any of their extracurricular activities because I am a father when I'm home. When I'm in the gym, my teammates are expecting the best out of me. So my preparation has to be key. And then when I am gone away from the family and I am doing wheelchair basketball, that is the focus. Now, when I'm not training or I'm not in film or lifting, I'm still calling home. Like, it was crazy. I was doing homework with my daughter, the previous selection camp, just because that's what she needed at that time. So understanding that, like, the road is a tough one, right? It's not easy. Yeah. I've missed birthdays. I've missed first steps because I am training or I am out of the country. But to be able to say to my kids have been there when I've won at the world stage, they've been on the court with me, like, those are the things that I hope they take with them.
Well, I know, obviously I know a little background about you because we've known each other for going on 7 years. People say, really? I'm like, yeah. Now, you also work for the U.S. Secret Service.
Correct.
I'm not sure if I can ask you what you do there and
Worst
how it
kept
parallels.
secret ever.
Yeah, and how it parallels with basketball. But why don't you let us into your eyes on that one?
Yeah. So like from a young pup, like I've always wanted to be a part of the government law, some sort. And I was actually through a disability career fair was able to connect with the Secret Service, and it just gives my ability to serve my country with another purpose. And I think that's giving what I was given is something that I love to do. So for me, currently I can say I work in security, and I love my job. They've been awesome to me. Been working there since 2020.
Okay. So pretty much when we met.
Yeah.
That's when you came back from France.
Yes.
So I'm making sure everybody's connected this. So, you say you love your country, which we all do, and I get that, but you also have to have heroes. And who are your heroes?
So I feel like my heroes, they change, ebbs and flows, right? Because I think a hero is someone that motivates you to be the best version of yourself.
Okay.
Growing up, Ray Charles, right, was huge for me. Why? Because you have someone, you take away what some deem as an ability, but he's still able to make music that everyone loves. Move forward, I'm playing basketball, LeVar Arrington, the way that he hit, right? Like that's what I wanted to mimic myself after. You know, having the person I call my dad, he's my stepfather, Eric Brown, you know, stepping up as a parental role, like seeing what it's like to have a father figure and who I wanted to emulate when I got older. And now that I'm gotten older and I'm in this, you know, stage in my life, it's my kids, right? Like, because I want to leave the world a better place. And I think it starts with the people that we have in our lives. So if I can make sure that my kids are good people and that they're treating people the way that they should be treated, then it's a direct reflection, not only on myself, but people that have come before me.
That's powerful right there. But you're also a mentor. So what advice do you give people with goal setting, young and old? Because you are, regardless what you think, you are a mentor to the older folks like me and the younger people in America. And when you have the ability to say, this is what goal setting is about, you tell the folks on this podcast what you're thinking.
Yeah, so when I think of a goal, and when I think of it from a extended version, right? All of us set a goal. Say January 1, right? That's always the thing. New Year's resolution. 17 days later, it's gone, right? Why? Because when we set a goal, we understand that that's the ultimate goal that we want to accomplish. Cool. How are we going to get there? For me, it started in college. Ultimate goal was USA. How do I get there? Well, I start by becoming an All-American. After that, I have to make a U.S. team. Before that, what do I have to do? I have to get in the gym and make 100 free throws, right? I have to lift weights, get stronger, faster, and work on my mental. So understanding while this is the ultimate goal at the end of the day to make this team and win a medal, there's steps that need to be done before that.
That's right.
And if I can check off these steps, it gives me a better opportunity because nothing's guaranteed.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main focus that we should have.
You know, it's funny you say that because my kids, I got 3 boys, and they're always saying, Dad, education, you didn't do well in school, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, but y'all did. Because the goal was for you all to get a high school diploma, get your bachelor's degree, and get your master's. Now, I'm saying this to you because of my 3 boys, 2 of them have accomplished that. The youngest one is still saying, he still says to me, yeah, I'll get it. I'm going to do work right now. I'm going to get it. Now, this is the guy that, you know, he set a goal to get out in 3 years at Tech. He got out in 3 years. He set a goal to be in sales for a food company. He's done that. He sets those goals and those parameters, but I'm just trying to get him to just come be a part of the family, man.
Yeah.
There's one left, right? There's one left. You know, when you are saying these things and being a leader, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, so I think for me, a leader is about creating an environment where other people thrive, right? I think that being a leader isn't just about having a letter on your chest or being able to say that, you know, I was the captain of this team or I was the supervisor of this department that got these accolades. For me, it's about actually being in the background, because there are going to be points and times as a leader, you're going to have to make decisions and do things that are detriment to you, but is a benefit for the greater good.
That's right.
And so a leader is about establishing an environment to see everyone else grow, because when they grow and when they eat and they get, you're doing the same thing.
That's right.
And although people don't see you eating or growing, you know that you're having a ripple effect on those people that you've touched.
That's excellent. I'm hoping everybody listening can understand how that manifests into a better place to live. So my final question to you or statement: is there something you want to tell my audience, our audience, about you, Trevon, and you tell us whatever you like to say. This is your stage right now, because when I close it, I'm gonna close it hard.
Yeah, close it. I got you. Well, first and foremost, you know, I have to give love to my family. You know, Laura, my 3 children, Soraya, Kaiden, and Makai. If I could give one nugget, it's about being the best version of yourself. you know, all too often I think that even for myself growing up, like people would stare, people would look, and I would want to wear prosthetics to feel this idea of being normal. But it was only when I was able to actually leave those prosthetics aside that I started feeling like I could be myself. And if people didn't want to accept me for not having legs, then those weren't the right people to have in my life.
Yeah.
So before I can be the best father, the best federal employee, before I can be the best athlete that I can be, I have to be the best version of me.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny. I didn't look at you as a person that didn't have legs. I was wondering how the heck you're making so many shots. And, you know, that was our first conversation.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that. I mean, I was like, damn, this dude is going through here shooting this ball like that. This is crazy. I can't allow you to do that. So the best version of me had to come out as well, because it was sort of like a competition.
Oh, yeah.
But when we were done, we would look at each other. It's 6 o'clock. We got to go.
Yeah, time to get to work.
So, man, I just want to say thank you. You know, when I think back about the things that we spoke about in this podcast, I think about leadership. I think about family first. And I think about how do you get set with a goal, set your goals. And you have to be setting your conditions for success. So I really want to say thank you for being here with me today, because this means the world to me. And that's going to do it for this episode of Connect with County Leaders. Thanks for joining us. My thanks to my guy, Trevon Jenifer. Until next time, get involved, stay engaged, and take the lead, because the lead is what matters. So thank you, brother.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.